Georgia and the Lowcountry. This is WJCL 22 Morning News. See us now.
Right now on WJCL 22 Morning News, federal judges in Atlanta rule federal officials can continue investigating former President Donald Trump. We're checking in with our crew in D.C. to find out what's next.
Vladimir Putin announced his intentions for military mobilization. Who's eligible to be drafted to the war in Ukraine?
A recent poll shows the issues at the top of Georgia voters' minds this election season. The #1 topic people are thinking about when they head to the polls.
The GBI has completed probes into 5 officer-involved shootings in Savannah. The next steps in the investigations and when we'll know if the officers will face charges.
Thanks so much for starting your day with us here on WJCL 22. Good morning. I'm Emma Hamilton.
And I'm Frank Sulkowski. Meteorologist Jonathan Myers is here as well as we take a look behind us. The tropics, they're pretty active.
Yeah, they are. We got Fiona that will bring impacts to our area. Coastal waters been saying that all week. We'll see high surf starting up today, and also rip currents will be going up as well. So we got Fiona and more tropical development that we're going to see probably in the Caribbean by the upcoming weekend. But today, beautiful weather. If you like hot weather, for today is the first day of fall, but officially does not begin until just after 9 o'clock this evening. So really, we're still in summer. It's going to feel like it today. Upper 60s at 7 o'clock, at sunshine at 8, 72 degrees. No problems with that commute. It is nice and dry out there as we start things off this morning. And we'll see clear skies today. And check out these temperatures this afternoon. I looked, the record high in Savannah today is 100. I don't see that happening. More like 94 today for Savannah, 93 for Hampton. Bluffton 93, also 96 for Jessup today. So definitely heat and humidity through the afternoon. But the good news is cold front moves through tonight, bringing us some beautiful fall weather by tomorrow. So some changes are on the way. And I'll be tracking the tropics, Fiona, and also that development that we could see in the Caribbean by the upcoming weekend. Those details in less than 10 minutes. Traffic track 22 and a wreck we reported earlier just after a 4:30 there on the Talmadge Bridge has now cleared. So no accidents to pass along right now. You can see that commute from Statesboro to Savannah eastbound on I-16, just about a 53-minute commute there. You can see a lot of green out there this morning as we're starting things off. Frank?
All right, thanks so much, Jonathan. Tell you what, let's head over to Statesboro. And Irk Russell used to stay at Georgia Southern. Our weekends begin on Thursday, so the weekend's officially here. Yeah, 301 bypass there at Veterans Memorial. You can see right now, no traffic issues to tell you about this Thursday morning. Well, we now know the wife of Supreme Court Justice from Savannah is set to speak before the January 6th committee.
Investigators have fought for months to hear from Virginia Thomas, the wife of Justice Clarence Thomas. They say that she reached out to former President Donald Trump's White House officials about their efforts to overturn election results following the Capitol riots. And coming up in the next 30 minutes, what Thomas's attorney said overnight about the testimony and what she's looking forward to.
More than 1,000 folks have been detained across Russia in a crackdown on anti-war protests. We first brought you this story as breaking news yesterday morning, only hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin said every person in Russia with any military experience will be drafted to fight in the war against Ukraine. Putin also said if Russia's integrity is threatened, they do have nuclear weapons. President Biden set to speak at the UN General Assembly today about the war in Ukraine. Now, coming up at 7, GMA will cover the protests erupting in Moscow following Putin's announcement of military mobilization efforts.
2 American veterans who were held by Russian forces are now free. Their release was a part of a prisoner swap between Russia and Ukraine. A spokesman for the families say that the men are safe at the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia. They're expected to return to the U.S. after medical checkups and debriefings. Both were captured back in June while offering aid in Ukraine.
Well, we're a little over a month away from Election Day, and candidates are focusing in on the issues on top of the voters' minds. The #1 concern among Georgia voters, the economy. The number one issue for voters this year is the cost of living. The second is threats to democracy. And the third is immigration. Abortion falls last among concerns for most Georgia voters.
Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is focusing in on the importance of rural voters. Raffensperger visited the Rotary Club in Glenville yesterday. He met with members of the community to talk about election fraud and the election processes. He also talked about the importance of rural Georgia.
You're important, your vote counts, and it'll be counted accurately, and that's why we continue to travel all the states. We travel the metro areas. We'll go from Savannah to Augusta to Columbus to Atlanta to Valdosta, and we'll also hit our smaller communities because it's really important to people understand that you're important, your vote counts, and we'll make sure it does count because we're going to have fair and honest elections.
Bee Nguyen, Raffensperger's Democratic challenger, tweeted this out. Under Secretary Raffensperger's tenure, Georgia's voting laws have become more restrictive. She believes, quote, our democracy is healthier when more Georgians are able to participate without having to jump through unnecessary barriers. New overnight, 3 federal judges in Atlanta ruled in favor of the Department of Justice over former President Donald Trump.
They ruled the DOJ's investigation into classified documents found at his Florida home can continue. We want to go ahead and check in with our Amy Lou up in Washington with what's in the ruling and what this means for the investigation moving forward. Amy.
Well, the appeals court in Atlanta says the Trump legal team provided no evidence that the former president declassified the 100 or so documents in question taken from Mar-a-Lago. The court also agreed with the DOJ's concerns that pausing the investigation could pose a national security risk, potentially harming both the U.S. and the public. In their ruling, judges doubted Trump could have an individual interest in or need for the classified documents. Trump's legal team hasn't commented whether they'll appeal the ruling. Meanwhile, a special master ordered by a lower court in Florida is combing through the rest of the 11,000 documents and determining whether they fall under attorney-client or executive privilege and if they should be returned back to Trump. In Washington, I'm Amy Lou.
Former President Trump is also facing a lawsuit by the New York Attorney General. The $250 million lawsuit claims that Trump, his children, and their corporation misvalued more than 200 assets over a 10-year period. Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, for example, was valued as high as $739 million, while the lawsuit claims it should have been valued at $75 million.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation has completed its probe of all 5 pending officer-involved shootings in Savannah.
The district attorney will now decide if any of the officers involved will face criminal charges. But as our Greg Coy reports, the process is going to take some time.
Of the 5 officer-involved shootings, 4 of them are fatal, and all of the cases have been investigated by the GBI. Its findings now turned over to the Chatham County District Attorney Shalina Cook Jones to decide if the officers involved can be criminally charged.
Our office really tries to get to those files, usually within 120 days of receipt.
This means the DA still has weeks and months to conduct its own review, which includes an in-house investigator, 2 assistant district attorneys, before Cook Jones herself makes a decision. At least one of those cases, the wounding of Zachary Smith, happened in February. The GBI tells me its probe was turned over to the DA in early August.
Everything that we review, we have to do it on a case-by-case basis. So I say, it's best to have a thorough and intentional investigation rather than a rubber stamp that just passes it through.
The most recent fatal officer shooting involves 31-year-old Saudi Lee, who showed the officer a holster and had a permit to carry a gun. Lee's family has said that they want the body-worn camera video of Officer Ernest Ferguson released to them privately and then publicly, according to community activist Reverend Alan Maynard.
Help them get some type of closure, some type of comfort.
District Attorney Cook Jones tells WJCL 22 News she will not release the body camera worn video in the Lee case or any other officer-involved shooting because she considers it evidence.
If criminal charges should be waged against the defendants, I don't want to taint the jury pool by putting evidence out there before I've had a chance to have that case fully investigated and charged.
Again, that was our Greg Coy reporting. Time check.